Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Robmotive JT. Out here cruising around in the Jeep Gladiator Mojave today, which, by the way, love this trim level. I've had the Sport S. Of course, I've seen the Rubicons and the Willies and all those. This is my favorite, the Jeep Gladiator Mojave. But anyway, I'm out here cruising around and I'm thinking, sooner or later, Jeep's going to have to do something with the Gladiator, some sort of a redesign or probably more like a refresh. I'm not sure exactly how much of a redesign you can do with the Jeep Gladiator. It's pretty much where it is, other than changing colors or maybe a few features. And features or options is what I want to talk about. There's a couple of things that the Jeep Gladiator is missing that I think should be included either in the form of a remodel, more likely a refresh, in the hopefully near future. The first one is the windows. Now, I gotta say, I'm not a big fan of having the window controls in the middle. I know it has to be that way, I guess. It's kind of a Jeep thing, but because I have other vehicles, every time I go to put the window down, I'm reaching over there on the door, because the Jeep is the only one that I have that actually has window controls in the middle. That's not really what I'm looking for. What I'm really looking for is an auto up. This is the Mojave. It's the higher end trim, right? Maybe the Rubicon's higher, I'm not exactly sure, but either way, it's top two, right? Why doesn't it have automatic up windows? I know it's a lazy thing. It's a first world problem. I mean, we do have auto down, a little railroad track action there. We do have auto down, but you have to hold the stupid controller to put the window up. I'd even be okay if it was just the driver's side. I mean, this is a selfish reason, but I'm the only one who drives this thing. So for me, I don't really have to worry about other people putting their windows up. And if there is somebody, they're not doing anything other than sitting there. They're not driving. They can hold the little knob or whatever to put their windows up themselves. That would be okay. And I'll tell you what, I thought of a third while we're cruising around here. So I'm going to go ahead and cover that as number 2 now. And that is a locking hood. Right now, anybody can get in the Jeep Gladiator very easily, or any Jeep for that matter, any Wrangler style Jeep. All you have to do is pop the 2 side latches and you're in. That's it. It worries me a little bit because it seems like the day and age that we live in, people are getting more and more bold in messing with other people's stuff. So if you're somewhere, you got the truck sitting outside, it's pretty easy for somebody to come up, pop the hood open, and do whatever they want to do. Slice wires, dump something into your oil, steal your battery. I mean, who knows? It's crazy to me the things that people do today, so I really wouldn't put anything past anybody. And I think it'd be pretty easy for Jeep to do. There are a few aftermarket options out there. I actually had one. A company sent me one, and I was all ready to put it in. But the problem is the wiring little grommet thing that they sent did not fit the hole in the firewall. Now, it's a pretty petty reason, I guess, to not install it. But honestly, when I get a kit, especially if it's from a company that wants me to try something out, this was a pro bono or a gratis, whatever you want to call it. It was free. So it should be right from the beginning. And it wasn't. So honestly, I got a hold of them, and after some conversations and things, I sent it back. I just said, the kit should be right from the beginning. Anybody else out there who gets this is going to want to be able to just install it. And I didn't feel good from an ethical standpoint in going ahead and installing this kit without it not fitting properly, even from the get-go. Pretty simple thing, but it should have been right. So yeah, I do think it should have a locking hood, one of the electronic versions, Next up, number 3, some sort of hardtop that can be removed easily by one person. The biggest problem I have with the hardtop on the Jeep, and I don't mind it otherwise, is that to take the back section off, you really have to have help. Now, it's not that you can't do it. You could if you're under there and you're trying to balance it. You get it just right, but it's cumbersome. It's awkward. And who wants to drop that top? You know, I've mentioned before, I've had the hard tops. Right now I have a soft top up here, but I've had the hard tops on here before. It, of course, came with a hard top. And just in storage, one of them got chipped. It wasn't even being manipulated or moved around. It was just sitting there. I'm guessing that somebody swept under the bed where it was being stored and kind of hit it with a vacuum cleaner. That shouldn't have been enough to chip it. Typically, vacuum cleaners have soft or rubber edges anyway, just to avoid damaging things. Nonetheless, something chipped the hard top that I had up there. And if you didn't know, it's white underneath, black on the outside. So when you have a chip, it's very apparent, very easy to see. It sticks right out. Drove me nuts. I couldn't put it back on that way. I did touch it up, and then it went back into storage. Didn't really matter for me because, as I mentioned, I have the hard top on there anyway. I mean the soft top. Now, what I'm talking about when it comes to a one-person removable hard top is something in the back that's split down the middle, or split somewhat down the middle, like the Freedom panels are. I mean, they do it in the front. You just have a couple of extra latches or whatever in here, and then you can take it off by yourself. And it could be the same way for the back. I'm kind of surprised that Jeep hasn't done that yet. I mean, it could have a couple, maybe 2 or 3 of those little twist latches like it has up here along the center, and then maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3, or maybe even the same kind of latch as what we have in the front, somewhere along the sides, maybe even at the edges on the back to hold it down. It's certainly doable, and it's something that I believe that Jeep easily could engineer. I don't know why it isn't that way. I think it's probably more a matter of cost, because let's be honest, if Jeep's going to engineer it, they're going to put it out there, it's going to cost them money to do that, and that, of course, is going to raise the price of the Jeep, something that nobody wants. They're already pretty darn expensive. But I would do that in lieu of other things. Let's say we throw out the auto stop. That would be good to me. I know it's never going to happen. It's probably more due to government regulation, but I'd be more than willing to give up the auto stop feature and put it into a removable one-person hardtop. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here, kind of talk about that a little bit. I'm curious to see what you guys think. What does the Jeep Gladiator need that it doesn't have already? I'd be curious to know. And there is one more thing I just thought of, and that is a disable button for the auto stop. Nobody that I know likes the auto stop. Why not a disable permanent button, or at least something that you can set in the settings to turn that thing off permanently if you choose? Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Mod Driven, all about my new, to me, Honda Civic Sport 6-speed manual. I'm finally back in a manual transmission. Gotta say, I love that car. And Rob Motive, all about the Toyota Tacoma. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? And also, smash the subscribe button while you're here. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.